from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
And I am Lakshita Dirisingha. We start off tonight's news bulletin by taking a quick look at the headlines.
The second and third phases of the export processing zone in Bingiria commences. The commuters praise the government's measures taken to end the railway strike. Another petition filed before the Supreme Court seeking an order preventing the holding of the presidential election. Executive officers of the university non-academic staff will return to duty from Monday. 2 crime gang members arrested in Dubai brought to the country. President Joe Biden says that he is the most qualified person to win the presidential election. Now for those and other stories in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated that a robust economy can be established by enhancing the export economy, manufacturing, tourism, technology sectors and modern agriculture.
He highlighted that the government has already laid the foundation for this vision. The president made these remarks today during the inauguration ceremony of the second and third phases of the export processing zone in Bingiria, which is the largest of its kind in Sri Lanka. Addressing the ceremony, the president emphasized that efforts are underway to create new investment zones to further bolster the export economy of the country. Upon completion of the Bingiria investment zone, it is estimated that an export income of $2,600 million will be generated and 75,000 job opportunities will be created. President Ranil Wickremesinghe inaugurated the newly constructed Dongxia Industrial and Commerce Company Limited in the Bingiria Export Processing Zone. During his visit, the president toured the premises and engaged in cordial conversations with the employees. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that today Sri Lanka is free from bankruptcy. Through the debt restructuring process, we have received relief of $8 billion from our total debt. He said that additionally, the entire loan repayment period has been extended to 2043, giving the government some breathing room to stabilize the economy. The president said that if this program is not carried forward, the country's economy may collapse again. He said that even today, our import costs exceed our export earnings. If this continues, the country may face bankruptcy again in another 15 years. Therefore, he said that proper economic management should be maintained by controlling the acquisition of foreign loans. He said that countries like Vietnam, Thailand and Indonesia have progressed to an export-driven economy, but Sri Lanka has not yet reached that level. The president said that therefore we must uphold the agreement with the International Monetary Fund and advance the country's economy. The president said that steps should be taken to strengthen the export economy. The factory opening today is a good example of fostering an export economy. He said that a strong economy can be built by developing the export economy, manufacturing sector, tourism sector, technology sector and modern agriculture. The government has already laid the basic foundation for this. He said that with the development of the investment zone, new housing and new cities will emerge, creating numerous business opportunities for its residents. He said that we aim to develop Bingiria as a major economic zone in the country through the advancement of agriculture, industry, manufacturing, information technology, tourism and the fishing industry. He said that this will also significantly improve the Pandala and Kuliyapiti areas. And we believe that restoration of Madampi will be achieved through these efforts. Governor of the Northwestern Province Nazir Ahmed, State Ministers Shanta Bandara, Ashoka Priyantha and D.B. Herath and people's representatives were present at this occasion.
Yeah, we are at the development stage. The area is still vacant, so we are promote the entire zone as per the instruction. This is
Railway services have returned to normalcy following the end of the railway strike last midnight. Accordingly, the heavy commuter congestion seen in buses yesterday was not there in this morning. Passengers said that there are transport services without any disruption since this morning. Officers of the Railway Controllers and Station Masters Association decided to call off the strike from midnight yesterday following the talks held with Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena held last evening. Accordingly, railway services will be available as usual. It was obvious that large number of railway commuters were having transport facilities at the Colombo Fort railway station this morning. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the strikers agreed to report for duty before last midnight with the agreement to solve all the problems through negotiation and consensus. The minister said that as the subject minister, he would not take any action against the officers who report to duty. Disciplinary action will not be taken against them as well.
Chairman of the University Grants Commission, Professor Sampath Amratunga, says that the executive officers of the university non-academic staff has agreed to report for duty again from Monday. He made these remarks expressing views to the media. Chairman of the University Grants Commission, Professor Sampath Amratunga, said that the Executive Officers Association last night signed an agreement to report to their service places by Monday. This may be a great relief for the commencement of activities in the university network. The University Grants Commission expects to provide maximum support to meet their demands. Other groups of the non-academic staff are also expected to report to duty without delay. They are also undergoing many hardships since they were not paid for 2 months. They should understand the country's situation and should be dedicated for the education of university students.
A fundamental rights petition was filed before the Supreme Court today, requesting a decision that by holding the presidential election, the Constitution will be violated since the 19th Amendment to the Constitution has not been passed in proper manner. The petitioner lawyer Aruna Laksiri Unawatuna says that through the 19th Amendment, the 70th Constitution has been revised. Accordingly, the President's power to dissolve the Parliament after 1 year has been removed, although a panel of Supreme Court judges has decided to subject this amendment to a referendum. It has not been approved by a referendum so far. The petitioners point out that since it has not been approved and signed by the President, it cannot be considered as a proper law in the country. The Election Commission and its members, Parliament General Secretary and the Attorney General has been cited as the respondents of this petition. Without being the 19th Amendment recommended holding a presidential election considering the President's term of office as 5 years is detrimental to the Constitution. The petitioner alleged that the Election Commission would violate the fundamental rights of the people through this move. The petitioner therefore requests the Supreme Court to issue an order to direct the 19th Amendment for a referendum.
In the meantime, views were expressed in the Parliament today regarding the problematic situation raised in appointing judges owing to an interim injunction issued by the courts. Parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara said that there are over 200 human rights cases before the Supreme Court. These cases should be completed hearing within a period of 2 months. There is a shortage of 2 judges in the Supreme Court. At least 5 new judges should be appointed to the Court of Appeal. Due to an interim order issued by the Supreme Court, it has become a problem to appoint judges for these vacancies.
සේසාධිකරණය අර දුන්න තානන් නියෝගය එක්ක දෙන්නෙක් පත් කරගන්න බැරුව ඉන්නවා සේසාධිකරණය. පත් කිරීම
Speaker Mahinda Pabewardena said that appointing judges is not a responsibility of the Constitutional Council. Its duty is to recommend the new appointments. President is the responsible person to appoint judges. Leader of the House, Minister Susil Premjayant, said that due to this order, except the Chief Justice, other judges cannot be appointed to the Supreme Court. These vacancies should be filled from the Attorney General's Department or according to the seniority of the Appeal Court judges. Even High Court judges cannot be appointed to the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court has to focus attention to this issue. Otherwise, the general public of the country will become the final victims of this case.
අවධානය යොමු කරන්න ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණේ මේක නිරවුල් කරලා දෙන්නයි කියන්නේ. නැත්තම් මේක අවසාන වශයෙන් කාටද විඳිත වෙන්නේ? මේ රටේ ජනතාව. මේ කතා කරනකොට ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමාලා
Minister Vijaydasu Rajapaksa said that all parliamentarians say that the parliament is supreme. The parliament has the power of supplement of constitution, affairs of constitutional council, appointment of top-level public officials and appointing independent commissions. Because of this court order, it is the duty of the speaker to safeguard the dignity of the parliament. When Ranru Bandaranaike was the speaker in 2001, he had taken a decision to highlight the parliament's supremacy. Since this parliament is weak in its actions, the uncertainty has arisen.
Two Sri Lankan criminals in Dubai who committed murders and organised crimes in the island were taken into custody and brought into the country this morning. The two suspects were brought to the Katunayake airport by a group of senior officers of the CID. One suspect has been identified as 48-year-old Kaludura Dinesh Samantha de Silva alias Babi, a resident of Nugegode area. The other suspect is 26-year-old Kankana Mlange Dimuta Chaturanga Pereira, a resident of Samtipura in Mattakulia. The police said that Dimuta Chaturanga will be handed over to the CID and Dinesh Samantha to the Murders and Organised Crime Investigation Division in Narahimpita. Nearly 1,000 employees of local government bodies in the northern and north-central provinces were provided with permanent appointments yesterday under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Accordingly, casual, substitute, contract basis, temporary and relief basis employees were given permanent appointments. 575 such employees in the central province were provided with permanent appointments in Kandy. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the President has been able to continue payments of salaries and allowances continuously. He was confident to come out of this crisis. Even amidst many difficulties, the President has been able to provide permanent employments to these employees. State Minister Delum Amunugama said that people struggled 2 years ago demanding supply of electricity and fuel. Now that the country is somewhat economically stable, therefore the strikers are attempting to get their salaries increased. Perhaps it would realize since the President has achieved economic stability.
යම් කිසි තැනක යම් කිසි දෙයක් හරියට කෙරලා තියෙන නිසා කියන කාරණේ මතක් කරන්න.
493 such employees in the North Central Province received their appointment letters at the North Central Provincial Auditorium. State Minister Shehan Sema Singh said that the President has appointed a committee to increase salaries by 2025. The President's aim is to increase the state income without causing extra burden to general public. Then he will think of increasing salaries. Meanwhile, the Jaffna District Coordination Committee meeting was held today at the Jaffna District Secretariat under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Egg hatching machines were distributed among poultry farmers and rice were distributed for the low-income families at this meeting. Minister Douglas Devananda, Northern Provincial Governor PSN Charles and many others were present at this meeting.
The carpeted and developed Morawever to Trincomalee Air Force Base road was vested with the public today. A sum of 125 million rupees has been spent for this road project. The 4.5 kilometers road was opened under the patronage of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. The road was developed under the funds of the Ministry of Transport and Highways. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that an agreement has been finally made to pay back the loans after having discussions with all state leaders throughout the world. As Sri Lanka has pledged to pay back loans, some foreign countries have agreed to give us loans. Accordingly, the stalled road projects can be started again. The IMF chief told that Sri Lanka has to proceed a long way embossed with knife blades. Therefore, we have to use the resources in a very frugal manner. The IMF has given Sri Lanka a grace period up to 2028 to pay back loans. 12 sets of engines were distributed under the program of strengthening the fleet of buses of the Sri Lanka Transport Board yesterday under the patronage of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena at the Lanka Ashok Leyland Company premises in Panagoda. The first sets of 12 engines is amounting to 500 million rupees.
Based on a concept of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, freehold land deeds were presented unconditionally and free of charge to war heroes who sacrificed their lives and limbs during active service to protect the country's sovereignty as well as to their dependents for lands currently occupied by them. This initiative, conceptualized by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, aims to affirm the right to a plot of land for these war heroes of the Triforces, Police and CSD, ensuring every inch of the country remains free from fear and doubt. The program is being implemented under the direction of Presidential Secretariat. According to the President's directive dated 13th May 2024, has granted full concessions for the government land provided for the residence of war veterans. The veterans are entitled to the following concessions: implement a special tax of 100 rupees for all categories of war heroes who have qualified through a formal selection process but have not yet developed a land, relax the conditions of special leases to facilitate easier access to financial resources for the development of leased land, provide free exception certificates for land that is under development or already developed, issue exception certificates for residentially developed lands that qualify under the middle class purchase price category, formally register the surrender and withdrawal of conditions in accordance with the provisions of the special offer letter with conditions, exempt survey fees payable to the surveyors department for obtaining plans and line drawings related to survey orders. This national program to grant ownership of land currently occupied by them to all categories of war heroes is set to be completed in 4 months. Arrangements are being made to hold mobile programs at 4 selected locations across the island, led by the Presidential Secretariat, to inform the war heroes and provide prompt solutions to their problems. The Polonnaruwa District Mobile Program was successfully held on the 10th of July 2024 at the Hinguraguda Air Force Base, on 17th July at the Saliyapura Gajaba Regimental Centre, on 19th July at the Kurunagala Vijayabahu Regimental Centre, and will be held on the 23rd of July at the Kaluthara Police Training College.
A chief incumbent there of Perivana has sent a letter to the President requesting to take measures to repair the access road to their area yesterday. The President had responded within a few minutes to fulfill that request. The road leading to Aludeniya Sri Siddharthodaya Pirivana was in a dilapidated condition for a long time. Chief Incumbent Venerable Dimul Kumure Vishuddhananda Thera directed a letter with a request to renovate the road. In this letter, the Thera has said that no politician, parliamentarian or minister has listened to their request of repairing this road. The Thera had written the letter in a very humble manner, requesting at least to provide some premise to cover the ruts and potholes of this road. Upon receiving this letter within a few hours, the President has phoned the Thera and pledged to fulfill this innocent request. The Thera said that the officials of the Road Development Authority came there yesterday itself and measured the road to start renovations with immediate effect.
President's Counsel K. Parindrana Singha sworn in as the new Attorney General this morning. The ceremony took place at the Presidential Secretariat, where he took the oath before President Ranil Wickremesinghe. This appointment made by President Wickremesinghe in accordance with the powers vested in him of the Constitution. K. Parindrana Singha is the 49th Attorney General of Sri Lanka. President Secretary Saman Ekanaika was also present at the swearing-in ceremony. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that a basic target of the government is to cultivate crops for export and for crops to be imported from other countries. He further says that this year will be declared as the year to make the country self-sufficient of green gram produce. The minister made these remarks at a ceremony held yesterday to merge the state-owned commercial fertilizer and Lanka fertilizer companies under the brand name of State Fertilizer. This merge of the two companies will pave the way for the government to save a large sum of foreign exchange. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that the government fertilizer companies have started a new journey today. This should be carried forward with competition. This would provide more benefits to the farming community. Fertilizer was the major factor that led to oust the President, Prime Minister and the Cabinet of this country. Shortage of fertilizer, decrease of harvest and protest campaigns and many other factors caused the change of the government 2 years ago. However, our farmers have produced the entire need of rice for the country in 2023. The same target can be achieved in this year as well. Sri Lanka is now self-sufficient with rice. Now that the country has the challenge of producing rice for export, on the other hand, the country has to be self-sufficient with green gram. The country's cultivation pattern should be increased up to 3 seasons to increase the productivity.
And with that, we take a look at a few more local news items in brief. The 2 gunmen who are connected to a murder in Cologne area recently have been arrested by the police special task force. Police have also seized 2 firearms, 2 live bullets, 100 grams of heroin, a motorcycle and 3 mobile phones in their possession. Cologne police station conducts further investigations. The Hindu devotees who are on the way to Katharagama's sacred premises from the north have arrived at Okanda area at present. The Hindu devotees who are on the way to Katharagama's sacred premises from the north have arrived at Okanda area at present. About 30,000 devotees from Jaffna, Mullaitivu, Kilinochchi, Vaunia and Trincomalee areas have joined the Padayatra. Sri Lanka Army provides the required facilities for them. A person who illegally recorded the film Singhabahu and exhibited in internet was produced before the courts in Kandy today. He has been remanded until the 24th of this month. The suspect was taken into custody under a complaint made by the film director Somaratna Disanayaka at the Colombo Computer Crimes Investigation Division.
Chairman of the National Transport Commission, Shashi Vargama, says that the National Transport Act will be amended. He made this comment at a press briefing held in the Government Information Department today. Chairman of the National Transport Commission, Shashi Vargama, said that the bill relevant to the National Transport Commission was subject to be amended 1.5 years ago. However, the Commission has powers to regulate buses only. Therefore, amendments have been made to get powers to regulate 3-wheelers, taxis, schools and office transport vehicles and all. Upon completion of the amendments, the National Transport Commission will have the full powers to regulate all these vehicles and other regulating bodies. It may take 1 or 2 months more. And that's all the news we have from home. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next.
பணத்திற்கு பதிலாக பீப்பிள்ஸ் பேங்க் டெபிட் கார்டில் கொடுப்பனவுகளை மேற்கொள்ளுங்கள். 55 லட்சம் ரூபாய் பெறுமதியான பரிசுகளை வெல்லுங்கள். மாதாந்த சீட்டிழப்பில் 25,000 ரூபாய் பெறுமதியான 150 வவுச்சர்கள். பம்பர் சீட்டிழப்பில் 17 லட்சம் ரூபாய் பெறுமதியான லத்திரனியல் உபகரணங்கள். விரையுங்கள், அதிகம் ஸ்வைப் செய்யுங்கள், டாப் செய்யுங்கள்.
And in foreign news, Joe Biden's press conference in which he insisted he was still fit to run for US president has failed to silence critics from his own party.
3 Democratic politicians joined the growing list calling on Biden to drop out of the US presidential race. Calls for US President Joe Biden to step aside from the presidential race have escalated since he stumbled through a TV debate with Republican Donald Trump last month. At an hour-long briefing taking reporters' questions on Thursday night, he was more steady and fluent, but there were also gaffes. He mistakenly referred to his deputy Kamala Harris as Vice President Trump when answering the first question. 2 hours earlier at a NATO event, he introduced Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin before correcting himself. Some donors, including Hollywood actor George Clooney, have pulled their financial support, saying he is not competent to carry out another 4-year term.
Rescuers are searching for more than 60 missing people in Nepal after a massive landslide swept 2 buses into a river. Only 3 people appeared to have survived the accident, which took place in today's early hours. Authorities said the landslide had been triggered by heavy rains. Nepal, along with other parts of South Asia, is in the midst of the monsoon season and has seen heavy rainfall in recent weeks, triggering floods and landslides that have affected millions. The accident took place in Chitwan along the Narayangat-Muguling highway, about 100 kilometers from the capital Kathmandu. Nepal's Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has called for all government agencies to join in the search and rescue operation.
The wedding procession of the son of Asia's richest man has begun in the Indian city of Mumbai. Anand Ambani, son of Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani, is set to tie the knot with Radhika Merchant, daughter of pharma tycoons Viren and Shaila Merchant. The groom set off from his residence in a luxurious red car covered in strings of white flowers as joyful guests danced around it. The 4-day wedding extravaganza is the final stop in a string of lavish parties the family has hosted since March. Reality TV star Kim Kardashian and former UK PM Tony Blair are among the international guests attending the ceremony. The procession, known as the Bharat, is on its way to the wedding venue, a convention center owned by the family. Key roads of the city are sealed off for several hours a day until the festivities end on Monday.
Kamuda machan, prima kotumi, fantamai.
Now, England fast bowler James Anderson retired from his international cricket career today.
His last match was the first test against the West Indies team. The match was played at Lord's in London. West Indies scored 121 runs for their first innings. In reply, England scored 371 runs for the first innings. Later, the West Indies were all out for 136 runs in their second inning. Accordingly, England won the match by an inning and 114 runs. James Anderson claimed 3 West Indies wickets in the second innings. He started his Test career in 2003 and claimed 704 Test wickets in 188 matches for England.
To end this game for Jimmy.
Northwestern Province was able to win both men and women championships of the volleyball tournament in 48th National Sports Festival. The final matches were played in Vatupitivala rounds yesterday. Northwestern and Sabaragama provincial women's teams played the finals and the Northwestern Province won the match 3-2 rounds. In the men's event, Northwestern Province team won the finals against Sabaragama Province 3-2 rounds. The best male player of the tournament is Chaminda Dilshan of Northwestern Province, and Pritika Pramodini of same province was the best women's player.
The qualifying tournament for the Under-18 FIBA Asian Trophy tournament is being held at the Sukutadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo these days. Sri Lanka team played its second game against Bangladesh yesterday. Sri Lanka won the game 93 to 56 points at the end of the match.
Kamuda machan, prima kotumi, fantamai.
And that's all the stories for tonight. Do join us tomorrow for more of the very latest. Until then, good night.